Hey, good morning. How are you today? Nice to have you with us. And we're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. And we have a very exciting news today. I've been really thrilled last week, and actually the last 10 days, we've had over 2,000 views of my videos, 2.2 thousand, and that really made me happy to be spreading the word. So anyway, I've been working with a guy, his name is Mark K, and he's talking about having a show. So I used to have a radio show, it's called Get Well Naturally Now show. So I'm going to do the Dr. Shirley Says Show, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. So when you pop on, love to hear from you. And today we're going to be talking about weight loss, okay? And we're also going to be talking about your colon. And the colon is a pretty important organ, within your body. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about cleansing. Morning, Gretchen. How are you? Hey, Cindy. Nice to see you. We're going to be doing a little bit more, in depth, a little bit more anatomy, a little bit more physiology, so you can really get an idea, of how your body works. That's what the whole idea is. I think sometimes, and many of you know, I'm not against anything Western medicine, but there's always a source to an issue. Good morning, Randy. Good morning, Damien. Hey, Angela. Angela's excited about the show. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, any likes? If you want to say where you're from, I'd love to give you a shout out. We have people sometimes from all over the world is what I've seen, but you know what? Doesn't matter if you're in Europe or Australia or in Sri Lanka, everyone's got a colon, and it all works the same way. And that's one of the neat things that I've realized over the years. I mean, I've taught, liver health and colon health for a lot of years, and the anatomy just doesn't change. So today we're going to do that. If you want to be getting my newsletter, I do a newsletter every week that'll tell you exactly what's going on. And my website is getwellnaturallynow.com. And you can sign up for my newsletter there. And I also send out some other interesting things along the way. So let's get started. Today we're going to talk, about the colon. This is sometimes considered to be a potty talk. And usually over the age of 4, right, we don't get to talk about this. We don't get to talk about poo and, kind of what goes on. I mean, really, who would you actually, talk this with? Hey, Sneed, Rita, Mike, nice to have you. So this is, I remember when I first got trained as an herbalist, I was at this conference. I think I was in New Orleans, and I'm sitting at this really fancy dinner. There's a white tablecloth, and they've even got chocolate with the insignia of the colon there. And, and I'm going like, oh my goodness. And people are starting to go, and they're starting to talk, and they're, they're starting to say about how much time their transit time is and how often they go to the bathroom. And they're serving like, all kinds of beautiful food. I'm like, holy cow, is this normal? And then a year from now, of course, I was, doing the exact same thing. So here I am, and this is what we're going to, be talking about today. Hey, Mike, nice to have you with us, and Janelle and Eddie as well too. So let's talk a little bit about how big the colon is, all right? And the colon is pretty long. It's actually about 5 feet long, and it's going to start on your right hand side, okay? And over at your right, and this is where we're going to go. And the colon is normally about 2 inches around. Sorry, my doorbell is ringing. It's my neighbor who wants to take my dog out. So just 1 minute. Hi, I can't talk to her. I'm doing a live video. Yes. Thanks for understanding. My neighbor just popped by. So the large intestine, let's start right. I want you to know exactly where the large intestine is. Take your right hand and put it down on your hip. Okay, you feel your hip bone there? That's where your large intestine starts. Now I want you to take that hand and I want you to move it up about 6 inches. Okay, this is called your ascending colon. And this is where, and we haven't talked about the small intestine yet, but this is where we move into the final stages of elimination. So you're going to come up about 6 inches, and that's the ascending colon. A lot of vitamins and fats get absorbed at that part. Now take that hand, keep it on the right hip. I want you to move it all the way across your torso, okay? Even dip it down a little bit like a swag. And that's called your transverse colon, okay? So that comes across. And then as we get over to the left hip, I want you to drop down another 5 or 6 inches, and that's called the descending colon. All right, so the descending colon then actually hooks up to the anal canal, and that's where all the elimination happens. So our colon is supposed to be about 2.5 inches around, all right? That is an ideal shape of a colon. Now, sometimes when the colon gets impacted, it can get teeny tiny and hard for things to pass through. It can get to be actually up to 3 or 4 inches around for someone who's really got an impacted situation going on. So as you can imagine, this is not, good health, at all. And in this colon, we can, as I said at the top there, we can actually hold between 5 and 20 pounds of debris, right? They said on the autopsy of John Wayne, there was 25 pounds in there, and there's a lot of people, if you've never cleansed before, believe you me, you have garbage. And I say that nicely. You can call it, crap, debris, years and years of buildup that sit in there. Now, a lot of people say like, oh, I go to the bathroom, so what's in there? But what happens is that, especially, has anyone ever had any white flour products? Pizza, bread, pasta, some of the rices, all of these things are actually what gets you built up. And so I'm trying to say the best way to explain this. It's not like a PVC tube, but it's round, but meaning that things that get stuck in there then start to go out into the rest of the body. So you can have layer like a mason putting in a layer and another layer and another layer, and all of a sudden that sludge gets to be really thick. And so what does that mean? I mean, it can be in there for years and years, and then the nutrients that are supposed to get absorbed actually can't get through. It's almost like a rubber type of material. It's called katara, and it actually can't get through. And so if those vitamins and minerals can't get through, you're actually not going to get the benefit, but you also are going to be more hungry, okay? So we're not as hungry when we get enough nutrients. So that's one thing, to keep in mind. So the other thing is we definitely want to get, some of the sludge out of our colon, right? We don't want that in there. And again, this can be there from years and years. So a lot of things also get stuffed in there. We talked about parasites the other day. If you don't think that you have, parasites, it's entirely possible you do, but that's where they stay sometimes. Hey, Lynette, nice to see you. Kathy, hello. And Sally, nice to see you too. And parasites will be in the mucus, okay? So the idea is when we do cleansing is to move a lot of this out, and we'll talk about what happens, but you do expel a good amount of mucus, and bacteria live in the colon, good bacteria, bad bacteria, and again, parasiticals, and you can also have, candida in there, as well too. And again, with this mucus there, so it cakes on, and we're going to end up eating, just a lot more. So all disease starts in the colon, okay? We have to realize that it starts in the gut, it starts in the colon. So when all of this is in there, let's say you've got, whether the parasite's colon, we've got, medications in there, chemicals, foods, things just all impacted in there. And if you're not moving your bowels, and this is the next thing that we're going to, talk about, your bowels ideally should be moving 2 to 3 times a day, okay? Anybody doing that? Raise a hand, because that means you're in really, really good health. And sometimes people think they're constipated if they don't go for after 5 days. But you know what? In the herbal world, if you don't move your bowels for the day, you're absolutely constipated. So this debris sits in there. And then again, since it's not plastic, then it leaks out into the rest of the body. And this is an auto-intoxication. So the liver had to handle all this garbage before. Then it went to the kidneys. Then it's coming down through the bowel. And I was like, oh my goodness, you again? So this puts a stress on the liver. And remember, we talked the other day when the liver stress, we're not going to burn fat. We're going to be quick to anger, easily frustrated, and have a hard time sleeping. So the whole body is connected. Can you understand that? And that is what it's all about with natural medicine. We go to a naturopathic doctor, we go to an herbalist, we go to a health practitioner because we want to look at the holistic part of the body. Every single thing is connected. I'll point out, maybe we're going, oh, what's that on Shirley's eyebrows? So I got these little red things. Well, I'm doing some cleansing right now, and for me, that's where the candida comes out. So I know when I start cleansing and I have things that show up on my face, it's good. It's a good thing because, some of this garbage is getting out. So let's talk about transit time a little bit. Does anyone know what transit time is? Any ideas? Any guesses? The transit time is how long it takes for food to go from your mouth down through your esophagus, into the small intestine, all through the long yards and yards and yards of the small intestine, and then into the large intestine, and then go out. That is the transit time, okay? Now, ideal transit time is actually about 12 to 15 hours, meaning the stuff that you had for dinner last night should be showing up this morning. And again, I'm going to, I don't mean this graphic in a way like it's just anatomy and physiology, but, a lot of adults get uncomfortable talking about their poo, but maybe you're all by yourself. Sometimes, I taught this class, a whole certified herbalist class, and I taught it live for years, and there's always giggles. It's just kind of funny. So there's a way to check your transit time. You can actually eat things like corn and beets, believe it or not. You look down, you can get an idea of what that is. And we'll also talk about how to increase that transit time. And again, to get that going, to get the garbage out. And then we're going to talk about full body cleansing as well too. Now, how do you know if you have a sluggish bowels? I mean, basically, you know that you're not moving. The size of your bowels, again, I said we were supposed to be about 2.5 2.5 inches around. There's a certain coloring there. Yes, blueberry and beets both work well. There's a certain coloring there. If your bowel is super black, that's an indication your system is off. If your bowel is white, you could be lacking some bowel. If there's bile rather, if it's green, there can be too much bile going in. Sometimes there isn't enough digestion happening, and so if there's a diarrhea situation, your body's really trying to get rid of something. So we have to understand that things like diarrhea is our body's own mechanism of moving things out. It's the same thing with a cold. I was talking with a friend of mine last week, and she had some surgery and happily recovered, and she says, I don't know where I got this cold from. It's unusual. And I said, well, you just had the surgery, so now your body is trying to get some of these toxins out of your body, and so the body will actually make mucus, and that is considered to be a cold. You're making mucus so that the body can carry out this bacteria, so she has a runny nose. If you're vomiting, okay, this means there's something in your body. It's trying to get it out, whether you have a flu, and in some of the European countries, flu is called a liver crisis, or maybe classic, right? Too much alcohol, right? We're going to vomit. There's the body's own mechanism of getting this stuff out of our body. So we should go easily and effortlessly with our large intestine 2 to 3 times a day. We should actually have, not a lot of smell. Now, I remember I had a client said, it smells like something crawled up there and died. Well, it actually did, especially if you eat meat. And I'm a meat eater, so, I'm not calling anyone on anything. But, things like, meat and, cheese and processed foods are going to create, or even medicines are going to create a foul odor. So not that, there's this saying, right? You think that your, S blank doesn't smell, right? Well, when you're eating good food and good vegetables and good water and good vitamins, it's not that it's going to be sweet, but you shouldn't have this horrific odor. If you've got a horrific odor going on, it's really time to clean your colon. And ideally, we should do this in the spring, meaning right now up here in the Northeast, or, again in the fall. So in this time of year, then we're doing this for renewal, right? We're cleaning the cells, we're cleaning out the kidney, we're cleaning out the bowel, and we're ready to start fresh and new. And then in the fall, we do the same thing. If we cleanse twice a year, you're not going to end up getting as sick. I'll tell you, I used to get the flu every single year when I was a kid. I can remember sitting on the couch and my mother would be like, and I'd vomit for a couple days, and I'd be, that racking vomiting 10 times a day, kind of horrid stuff. But once I got involved in natural health, which was in my early 30s, do you know that I have not had the flu since? Any kind of it, absolutely no kind of it. Because if a lot of times, in my opinion, again, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm a doctor of naturopathy, I'm a certified herbalist, yoga, I've got a huge amount of background, so I'm not diagnosing, but I'm just telling you my story. When I started cleansing in the fall and the spring, I never had that thing again. So you just have to think about this, and we'll learn more as we go on, because I'm doing this show every day, at 11 o'clock, and I'm excited about that. So let's talk about kind of what is in the poo. You've got 75% of water, so water is really, really important to keep things moving. I think a lot of you know, I'll say it again, whatever you weigh, divide it in half, and that's about how many ounces you should have per day. Now, this doesn't mean soda, it doesn't mean coffee, it can mean tea, all right? So the water is, super important as well too. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about, what you may be experiencing. When our colon is clogged, we may have some problems, on our face. We may have some acne going on. We may have, different breakouts on our arms. We may have, adult kind of cyst kind of things going on, on our face and anywhere on our skin. Our breath may be bad. All right, you know that if your breath is bad, it can be related to your colon. You go figure. Now, obviously, this means you're brushing your teeth okay, and you're not sick. But if someone says that you have bad breath, you have to know that it's time to clean your colon. Feet that smell, believe it or not, if your feet smell, this is related, to the colon. So all these things that are up inside of there are, just really can cause some havoc within your body. You may have some bloating, you may have some indigestion. We'll actually talk about the stomach on another class and how foods properly digest, but right now we're just talking about getting a lot of this out. You may find you have disruptive time sleeping because, like I just said, if the colon is stressed, it's going to put stress on the liver, and then the liver is active between 2 and 4 a.m. and you may be just wide awake, you're not able to sleep as well. And we're going to have a sleep class as well too. You'll find that your moods may be off. You may be kind of sluggish, mentally tired. You feel heavy. I mean, literally, can you imagine just walking around, with all of this extra garbage? So it's really a time of renewal. And I did one of my earlier classes, and you can catch all of my classes on my Facebook, okay? And then you can also, I've been uploading them to YouTube too. So I have a YouTube channel. It's just under Shirley Picaretto. And you can subscribe to that, and you can get updates whenever there's anything new going on there. The other thing that'll start to happen is that, hey, good morning. Hi, Lori. Nice to see you. And Lori's doing some good work with me right now too, so I appreciate you. And okay, let's talk a little bit about other things that happen. You're going to find that your mood becomes lighter, because when you're impacted and you have garbage going on, you're going to be, you might be quick to anger, easily frustrated. You just may be, a little bit moody, a little bit sour. So you're going to have a whole lightness of being, okay, after you get all of this, junk out of your body. You're also going to experience weight loss, and that's really what we're talking about. Now, weight loss is multifaceted, right? I mean, I'm going to talk later in the week about how hormones, especially progesterone for women, play a part. Obviously, there's the activity that goes on, but there's other physiological reasons. In a couple of days, I'm going to talk about the thyroid, because so many people have a sluggish thyroid and have no idea, right? So it's a multifaceted issue, this weight loss thing, but I'm telling you, it is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, okay? You have no idea how good you can feel. And just because you're overweight now doesn't mean that you have to be overweight, okay? It's not like you're born with, one arms. We're not going to grow a new one back, but it's just fat, okay? It is just fat. And if you learn the right keys, okay, if you learn how to do this, you can stay, like my book is called Healthy, Lean, and Sexy at Any Age. We're meant to be healthy. We're meant to have good energy. We're meant to sleep good at night and be in a good mood and be sexually active and, and have a joy and a zest for life. And it's one of the things that I love so much. And I found that starts with my fitness. I mean, I was overweight as a kid, okay? I just was. I was actually just fat. So if you download my book, which is free, you can read my story there. I used to have Oreos stuffed in my drawer, and my mother said, no, you're just solid. I mean, she was trying to be kind because she was a gentle woman, but I'm like, I'm not solid. I'm really, really fat. Like, there's only 2 fat girls in my class. I was one of them. I guess at the time I probably weighed 130. I mean, now fat is, there's 6 and 7-year-olds weigh 130 pounds, but so I guess it's all perspective. But point being, in my early 20s, I just made a decision that being thin was better than anything else. Being thin and fit, not just thin, but being thin and fit gives you so much confidence in life, gives you confidence sexually, gives you confidence to maybe go out and start a new job, to go back to school, to pursue a different relationship, leave a different relationship. And mind you, I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying we become more of ourselves when we're comfortable in our own skin, right? And to be comfortable in your skin. So part of that is taking care of ourselves. And that's your responsibility to take care of yourself. No one's going to do it for you. Use your doctors for your emergency medicine, okay? That's important. But use sources, like me and other holistic people and wellness professionals and, holistic health coaches. Use those professionals to be the best you can be. There's a ton of free stuff. I mean, what I'm doing right now is free stuff. It's up to you to take those steps though, right? Isn't it interesting how socially exciting that is, right? Did you ever see those before and after pictures? People magazine has a how I lost half of my weight, going on. And we get so inspired. Shape magazine's been doing that for years. They've got their before and afters. And one of the companies I'm working with right now, has a plethora of before and afters that'll blow your mind. We cheer people on. You're going to need to lose, usually most of us need to lose about 10 pounds before anybody even notices, which is kind of funny. And, and if you're heavier, it may take 20 pounds, but oh my goodness, what have you done? You look amazing. And who doesn't want to hear that? We all like that pat on the back. We all want to feel good, but this is something, again, it's your responsibility. It's no one else's to do. So let's talk about some of the different types of cleanses that are out there. First of all, there's a lot of good cleanses on the market. There's obviously a couple that I recommend. I don't recommend any products online or on this class because I just, I want you to do your own research. I'm also, willing to help you. So it's important that you do get a good quality. I like to say, you don't have to pay $100, to get a decent cleanse, but you probably shouldn't go to the dollar store or Walmart, all right? Or maybe some things online that maybe aren't tested. The other thing is, do you take any medications? Okay, yes, no. Most people do, especially over the age of 40. I think it's close to 70% take some kind of medications. You cannot just do a cleanse if you're on meds without knowing what to do. There can be interactions. Herbs are primarily water soluble, but some of the, let's say maybe there's some dandelion or there's some burdock or some ginseng. There can be some interactions there, so you want to make sure that you're doing this properly. You want to make sure about your history. All right, Lori says, I take no meds. She's in the small percentage. I don't either, and that makes me happy. I kind of used a few last year, I think, but so anyway, let's talk about that. If you want to, if you have any questions, just contact me individually. I'm happy to help you. There's different types of cleanses. The one I'm talking about is a bowel cleanse. It'll cleanse out your bowel. You'll have nice, no meds for Cindy, boom. You'll have nice, consistent bowel movements. You'll clean out all of that debris. You'll be healthier. You'll have more energy, and you're going to sleep better at night. There's also a body fat cleanse, and we talked about that. If you haven't seen that video, it was a real popular one, and it's back on my page, and that's about detoxing your fat cells for weight loss. Okay, and then there's also a 30-day program that is for weight loss, and it is for cleansing. I can recommend any of those to you. Just give me a call. My phone number is on my webpage. My email is drshirleysays@gmail, and then you can catch me right here, on Facebook as well too. So, any questions? Does anyone have anything that they want to know more about? Hi, Ann, nice to see you. And hey, Barb, nice to see you. And anyone else have any input? I know some of you are also health professionals, and I recognize that. So, and everyone's got a little bit different opinion when it comes to health. Okay, everyone is going to have a little bit different way to do things, and it doesn't matter. Oh, you lost 5 pounds already, Lori? Woohoo! That is amazing. I'm so happy for you. And that was a program that Lori got started on, a 30-day program, and she's lost 5 pounds, and and she's just 5 days in. So, alrighty. Or maybe it wasn't 5 pounds. Maybe I need to put my glasses on stronger. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. You can join me tomorrow. Oh my goodness, I think I've already forgotten what I'm doing tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's all about the thyroid. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to talk about kickstarting your thyroid, so you're going to burn off more calories as well too, and have better mood. We'll talk about 16 ways to tell if your thyroid is off base. And then the last thing I'll leave you with, I am looking for people who do want to be certified herbalists. I am looking for people that I can mentor. I have a certified herbalist course. You can find out about it on getwellnaturallynow.com. And I'm also looking to train some people in weight loss coaching. That may or may not be you. That's fine. If you have any interest, give me a holler. I'm really looking forward to helping you in any way that I can. And anytime that you call or contact me, I'm happy to do so. So have yourself a most wonderful day, and I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow or the next day. Please put a like on here. I'd appreciate that, so other people can see more of this. And if you feel inclined, to share this with anyone, I would appreciate that as well too. Because one by one, we're teaching people all there is to know about the beauty of natural health. So namaste. Have yourself a wonderful day. Thanks, Lori. Thank Angela. Talk to you soon. Bye now.